Greetings everyone. I'm Kenneth Aspira Salonga, a student from BPED 3A. So, we are the Group 3 and we will be discussing the Physical Education Teacher Education Curriculum. So, under this topic, we have 4 subtopics. And first, we have the changing landscape of education. Second is the significant reform. Third is the PPST or Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. And lastly is the Physical Education in Revolution 4.0. So let's proceed. So the objectives of this topic is to discuss the changing landscape of education. Second is to elaborate the significant reforms and discuss the PPST or Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers. And last is to explain the Physical Education in Revolution 4.0. So the overview. The physical educator is to provide maximum physical activity time within the class period, teach skills and activities that transfer into physical activity outside of physical education class, motivate children to be physically active, and take the role of physical activity director for the school. If students are to receive the amount of physical activity, they need to each day other opportunities to be physically active within the school. They must be provided. So, the physical education teacher has unique responsibilities in the school physical activity program to ensure that students are physically active within the physical education class. The physical education teacher also has the responsibility to help direct and guide opportunities for physical activity within the school outside the physical education class. So, alam naman natin yung role ng physical education teacher is to teach us as a student ng mga different physical activities like yung pagte-training natin ng mga drills, ng sports, ganon. And now, we are moving on to the changing landscape of education. So first, we have standardization is no longer the standard. Now, it's not suggesting that standards fly out the window and schools should teach any which way they want. There is a high value in having set protocols, measurable learning outcomes, and established curricula. Siyempre sa pagtuturo, hindi naman maaari na kung ano lang yung gustong ituro ng mga teacher is yun na yung ide-deliver nila or yung i-share nilang information sa mga estudyante. Siyempre meron pa rin tayong mga sinusunod na protocols and meron pa rin mga syllabus or mga curriculum na sinusunod yung mga teachers natin. So, however, teaching as if expecting all 16-year-olds to learn the same material at the same pace with the same depth of knowledge is an outdated paradigm. So, meron kasi tayong iba't ibang klase ng mga estudyante at hindi sila magkakaparehas ng level of knowledge. Meron mga estudyante na magaling sa subject na to at meron ding mga students na doon sila mahina. So, for example, ako, mas nag-excel ako sa physical education na subject pero pagdating sa math, doon pala ako mahina. Pero meron din namang mga estudyante na doon sila mas nag-excel pero sa pagdating sa physical education, hindi sila masyadong magaling. So, is placing out most importance on core academic subjects like math and science while relegating art, music, and athletics to electives or after-school programs. There has been a growing movement to shift away from a one-size-fits-all approach toward models that are more flexible and allow for more individualized attention. And the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated this growth as parents look for better alternatives, whether that's learning pod, micro school, or virtual program. When we say one-size-fits-all approach, ito yung kung ano lang yung dapat gawin ng isang tao. Halimbawa nasa school ako, at ito lang yung dapat na ginagawa nila, kumbaga yun lang din yung dapat kong sundin. Parang sabay sa agos, ganon. Sabay sa agos, kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa paligid, dapat ganun din yung mangyayari sa akin. So, sabi nga dito, And the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated this growth as parents look for better alternatives. So, from traditional mode of learning, which is yun nga yung face-to-face natin dati, nalipat siya sa may iba't ibang klase ng mode of learning. Meron tayo, dumanas tayo, or meron sa mga ilang schools ay ang mode of learning nila is modular, which is kumukuha sila yung mga parents ay nagpupunta sa school para kumuha ng module ng kanilang mga anak, and then after a week isasubmit ulit nila ito para kumuha ulit ng panibagong module. At meron din ibang schools na talagang merong virtual classes, like yung online learning nga, yun yung ginawa natin nung nakaraang taon due to pandemic. And now we are on a hybrid learning, kung saan meron tayong mga face-to-face classes and meron tayong mga online classes pa rin. So, opponents of standardized tests for college admissions claim that they give students from affluent families an unfair advantage. The test only measures the students' reading, math, and grammar skills in a decontextualized setting. There are now over 1,400 colleges and universities that are not requiring the SAT or ACT as part of the admission process.
Good day everyone, I'm Aloha Abeldes from Pedagogy, and this is the continuation of our topic. So, letter B, SemiCustomization. As much as the word standardization bring about a negative connotation within the context of education, other words like individualization or differentiation are overused buzzwords, often though as a magic bullet. These misnomers give the impression that education can be a build-your-own-burger experience in which students choose what, how, and when they learn. So, dito sa letter B, sinasabi na yung pagiging standard ng education or pagkakaroon ng standard ay nagiging negative ang dating kasi, di ba, kapag mayroon silang pamantayan sa ano lang ang dapat ituro, yun lang ang regardless sa learning condition. Kaya yung term na individualization or differentiation, yun yung naging dahilan para maging maayos yung view ng system ng education. Which is mali kasi ang tingin nila, yung education ay parang paggawa lang ng sarili mong burger na ikaw mismo ang gagawa, mamimili ng mga ingredients na ilalagay. Kasi nga, based sa mga experience ng mga students na dapat daw ang mamili kung ano, paano, at kailan nila gustong matuto. So, semi-customization means that education must be based on what, how, and when learners want to learn, in which learners want to have a freedom to customize the education they want, but the question is, do all learners want this way? So, you as a teacher must consider situation like this for your learners. So, semi-customization, ito yung personalized learning. Choose ng learners kung ano yung gusto niyang matutunan and sa panong paraan niya gustong matuto at kailan niya gustong mag-aral. Example, ikaw bilang isang BPED student, you have your own choice about your learning that depends on your experiences. Kung halimbawa, ikaw ay na-injure before and alam naman natin na maraming physical activity sa major natin and ayaw mo mag-perform ng mga skills. So, choice mo kung gusto mong gumawa na lang ng mga written words kaysa sa pag-perform dahil pwedeng natatakot ka ulit and iniisip mo na baka ma-injure ka ulit. So, another example is yung one-on-one learning. Yun yung mga pag-tutor, connection lang between the student and the teachers. Ang role ng teacher dito is to know what you already knows and then i-connect niya ito sa panibagong information or lesson na pwede niyang idagdag sa kaalaman mo. So next is letter C. Online education is here to stay. For many parents, students, and educators, the remote learning situation forced on by the pandemic was stressful, overwhelming, and frustrating experience. Many schools across the country and the world did not have the technology, infrastructure, and teacher training to accommodate such a drastic change. So dito, lahat masasabing stressful ang pagkakaroon ng online class, though ito yung nakatulong sa atin para maipagpatuloy yung pag-aaral natin. Maraming estudyante ang nahihirapan dahil sa pandemic. Di lang estudyante, maging ang mga magulang din nahihirapan na tumutusto sa pangangailangan ng anak. Dahil online nga, ang tanging paraan upang mapatuloy ang pag-aaral ngayong pandemic. Even parents experience stress due to the needs of the learners, especially to devices na kailangan niya ng phone at internet para maka-attend sa online class. And sa student naman, one of the problem is yung environment nila sa bahay. Not all learners have one room to stay on to study. They get even distracted. So, maraming barriers ang lumilitaw noong nagkaroon ng online class, and hindi lang si parents, si learners ang nakaka-experience. And nakaka-experience din ng problem si teacher. There are times na si teacher ay hindi masyadong maalam sa technology sa mga online platform na ginagamit, kaya nagiging dahilan din ito ng struggle na nararanasan ni teacher. But all we know is that online class learning is here to let us learners to continue our education while we are staying inside our houses. So, example lang na kahit dati pa man, mayroong mga school na nag-o-offer ng online learning like sa mga artista na ganito yung mode of learning nila kahit dati pa. Ngunit dahil sa pandemic, mas nakilala at naging gamitin yung ganitong mode of learning. Pero in learning some subject, major and courses, mahirap siya. Example na lang nating mga PPED student. Marami tayong mga physical activity na mas matututunan natin kung face-to-face. Parang mas madali siyang gawin kung face-to-face natin, kung face-to-face i-discuss ng teacher. Ganun din sa ating mga teachers, may mga challenges din na silang nai-experience sa pagtuturo ng online. Hindi nila masyadong na-demonstrate kung ano ba yung mga dapat gawin ng mga student. So, this is the end of my topic.
Thank you, Ms. Aloha Valdez. And for the continuation of our discussion, the topic is all about the significant reform of education. So we have 7 types of significant reform in education. First is to decrease the number of standardized tests. So the standardized tests to have their place in educations. But like with anything else, too much is overkill. Perhaps students' progress can be tracked every 3 years as opposed to every year. So when we say standardized test, it means that we should analyze and assess our students. And also as teachers, we have a measure and proper way of giving tests to our students. This would save many states as a great deal of money and students a great deal of stress. Furthermore, standardized tests should only be used to track a student's progress, not to indicate teacher accountability. So based on DepEd Order Number 73 in 2012, the use of multiple measures as one assessment guidelines. And as a teacher, we also undergo to observations through our heads and reviewing lesson plans. Students can also assess the teacher if the teachers are doing well inside their classroom. Second is, give teachers more say in policy. In my ideal world, Teachers leaders would work alongside school members so that both teachers and community members had a say in local policies. So when we say give teachers more say in policy, teacher is the role model of students inside the classroom. Policies are the boundaries and limitation in school. Teachers seeking to maintain important policies gains while addressing stakeholders' concern. So, any lawmaker who wanted to write policies that affected public education would have to visit a variety of classrooms and meet with a variety of teachers and students. So, one of the example for this is the PTA meeting, which is teachers may create policy for both parents and students to improve the quality of educations for their learners inside their classroom. Next is give teachers more classroom autonomy. Most educational standards are written with skills in mind as opposed to materials. As such, the types of materials teachers can use in classroom instruction are nearly endless. Unfortunately, many districts leave choosing materials in the hands of anyone but the teachers. So the other meaning of this, teachers' autonomy refers to the professional independence of teachers in school, especially the degree to which can make autonomous decisions about what they teach students and how they can teach it. Like the teachers. Teachers are the implementer, also the creator of our lesson. So like the mission, teachers facilitate learning and constantly nurture every learner. So this is one of the role teachers, or this is one of the teachers' important role inside the classroom. For the continuation of our discussion, here is Mr. Joseph Tiburcio.
Good day everyone, and for the continuation of our discussion, I will continue to discuss the another four remaining benefits or significant of reform. Let's go to the number 4. And number 4, improved teachers training program. We need to undergo to the trainings or the program that increase our intelligence. Teachers must be train or enhance their knowledge, their capacity, so that in this time of pandemic, like online class, yung mga teachers natin ngayon ay nag-isip talaga or train nila yung sarili nila kung paano nga ba matutunan yung another form of teaching na online. So, in BPED, as a BPED student, ay talagang nakita ko din yung effort ng mga teachers natin. They improve their self. Nag-improve talaga sila, they train themselves talagang inaral nila kahit mahirap ang online class. Talagang na-push din yung mga teachers natin na na-improve din yung capacity nila through digital world. And also said that we need, new teachers need to understand that while teachers from Freedom Writings and similar movies are ideal education, they are not always realistic in the past mode of learning. Yung mga teachers natin ay gumagamit sila ng Manila paper, gumagamit sila ng mga illustration board, gumagamit sila ng mga iba't ibang mga handicrafts para mas mapaliwanag. So ngayon ay gumagamit na ang mga teachers natin like Google, gumagamit na sila ng YouTube para mas lalo pang gumana yung isip ng mga bata para mas madali nilang maintindihan. Ngayon kasi, in our modern time, student can focuses on the content. We are content-based, so mas marami na ang practicum. Kaya this, the significant of reform that improve teachers training program. We need to develop, we need to increase our capacity. And for the number 5, offer different curriculum for different children. Based on the performance, they are either prepared to the college or they are prepared for more technical track. um, we need to understand that we are not equally, we are not same intelligence. So when we say offer different curriculum like K to 12 in our modern time, hindi naman tayo gumagamit dati ng K to 12 or wala yung 2 taon na idinagdag sa which is yung senior high school. So Philippines agreed that we are nahuhuli na sa ginagawa or dun sa ating educational system, so that K to 12 are amended or implemented in the year of former President Aquino. So these are the way or significant of the reform that we need to give equally, or we need to adapt competitively to the globally. We need to be globally competitive to others, that kailangan nating sumabay sa kanila, na hindi dapat tayo napag-iiwanan. So, lagi nga sinasabi na napag-iiwanan na ang Pilipinas sa larangan ng edukasyon. So, we need to like yung ALS ay isa sa mga which is alternative learning system. So ito yung ginagamit na even hindi ka nakapagtapos ay pwede kang makapag-aral pa. Like yung mga special children, we need like SPED. So yun yung mga ginagawa or mga dahilan kung bakit maganda yung offer na magbigay tayo ng mas marami pang curriculum, na hindi naman pare-parehas ng curriculum kasi nga iba-iba naman tayo ng intelligence. Kaya yun din yung isang significant ng pagbabago, reform, na kailangan nating mag-offer ng different curriculum to the different children kasi hindi tayo pare-parehas ng intelente or intelligence. And for the number 6 is offer teachers better pay. Like in here in the quotation, no one goes into teaching to become billionaire. But no one should expect teachers to work so much for so little pay. In our modern time, teachers are the pinakakonte ang sahod, mababa ang sahod. It depends on if you are teacher 1, 2, 3, or if you are a head teacher. Before magkaroon ng engineer, may teacher. Before magkaroon ng police, merong teacher. Which is, teachers are the most important in our modern time or in our educational system, because they are the one who can give knowledge to us. And the significance of the reforms is to give incentive, to give better pay to the teachers, that he or she can do work more in the profession na pinili niya. So, dahil sa pagtaas ng sahod, mas gaganahan yung teachers, mas gaganahan na gawin yung task or yung profession na pinili niya. Even, sabi nga, maliit man ang sahod, basta yung passion mo ay nandun, all things work together. And for the number 7, shorten instructional time and lengthen planning time. This is not say that planning should overweight teaching time. Rather, this is a sort of sometimes should be taken from teaching to be put into planning. We need to have plan that what are the lesson we are giving to the student, and we need to, in our modern time, we are focuses on the outcome base, which is we are more on practicum or practical. We need to enhance the like fundamental dance position in physical education. Instructional time, or we are giving instruction to the student, it is a shorten. Student can analyze, interpret what are the step, and the execution must be executed rightly. And it focuses on, in the number 7, it focuses on the planning, which is what are the knowledge or what are the lesson we are giving to our student. We need to have plan, or what are the techniques of or what are the modes we need to use in the to the children to impart the lesson. Once again, I'm Joseph Tiburcio, and for the continuation of our report, may I call Miss Jacqueline Bondoc.
Thank you, Mr. Dibusio. So, for the continuation of our report, I am here to discuss what is Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers. But before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Jacqueline Villaflor Bondoc from BPED 3A. So now, what is Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers? The National Competency-Based Teacher Standards or NCVTS was institutionalized through CHED Memorandum Order Number 52 Series of 2007 and DepEd Order Number 32 Series of 2009. So it merged as part of implementation of Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda or BESRA, and it was facilitated by the Drawing Learning Coordinators program like BEAM, STRIVE, and TIP. So let's move on to the career stages. Career stages, teachers' profession development happens in a continuum from beginning to exemplary practice. So, tandaan po natin na ang career stages po ay ito po yung stages na pang long life learning. So, first stage is beginning teachers. Beginning teachers have gained the qualification recognized for entry into the teaching profession. In this career, they have a strong understanding for their subject or areas in which they trained in terms of content knowledge, pedagogy. So next po is proficient teachers. Proficient teachers are professionally independent in the application of skills vital to the teaching and learning process. So in this career stage, they are actively engaged in collaborative learning with the professional community and other stakeholders for mutual growth and advancement. So sa unang pasok natin as a teacher, ang tawag sa atin ay beginning teachers. And after 2 to 3 years na tayo ay nag-undergo sa ating seniors or supervisors, tayo po ay pwede na pong tawaging proficient teachers. And next is highly proficient teachers. It is consistently a high-level performance in their teaching practice. They have high education focus, situation cognition, are more adept in problem solving, and optimize opportunities gained from experience. Dito sa third stage, dito na natin masasabi na batikan na tayo sa larangan ng pagtuturo. Mga 5 years or more of experience na tayo pag nasa gantong stage ka na, ay dapat consistent na tayo sa mga high performance at nagme-mentor na tayo ng mga beginning teachers. And next is distinguished teachers. For the fourth career stages, distinguished teachers embody the highest standard for teaching grounded in global best practices. They exhibit exceptional capacity to improve their own teaching practice and that of others. So, in this stage po, ay tayo po ay mga supervisors na or mga master teachers na.
Thank you, Ma'am Jackie. So, good day, everyone. I'm Monica S. Ancheta, and I will be discussing the 7 domains of Philippine Professional Standard for Teacher, or also known as the PPST. So, the PPST has 7 domains, which consists of 37 strands that teacher must apply in order to become more equipped and effective. So, now let's start with the first domain. Domain 1, Content Knowledge and Pedagogy. It consists of 7 strands. When we say content knowledge or the domain 1, it is all about the mastery of the topic. It focuses on how teacher transform the knowledge into something that a student can learn, and that is through activities, lesson planning, and teaching strategies. So number 1 is the content knowledge and its application within and across the curriculum areas. So teacher should know well the ideas or the topic that she or he will be imparting to student. Dapat alam mo yung itinuturo mo at naiintindihan mo yung connection ng bawat lesson. Number 2, research-based knowledge and principle of teaching and learning. Teacher should not only rely on the module or books. Teacher should be more explorer. Dapat nagre-research ka pa ng maraming kaalaman or ideas about sa lesson na ituturo mo. Number 3, positive use of ICT. So teacher should know how to use computer to make learning convenient. Number 4, strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. Number 5, strategies for developing critical and creative thinking as well as other higher order thinking skills. So teachers should think an activity that promotes literacy and numeracy as well as higher thinking skills. Like for example, application of what student learn. So through that, it requires higher thinking skills ng mga bata. So magpapagawa ka ng mga activities na talagang pag-iisipan at gagana ang utak ng mga bata. Number 6, mother tongue, Filipino and English in teaching and learning. Number 7, classroom communication strategies. So teachers should use different languages so that the student can learn more. And teacher must be responsive to student. Dapat maayos yung pakikitungo mo, maayos yung gesture mo when you are talking with them, at dapat alam mo sagutin yung mga katanungan ng estudyante mo. So through that, magkakaroon kayo ng good communication and relation. Domain 2, learning environment. This domain consists of 6 strands. The first one is the learner safety and security. Number 2, fair learning environment. Number 3, management of classroom structure and activities. Number 4, support for learner participation. Number 5, promotion of purposive learning. And the last one, the management of learning behavior. So this domain focuses on creating learning environment that is conducive, secured, and effective for student. So when we say learning environment, hindi lang ito yung classroom or room na pinapasukan natin. It also includes the behavior and attitude as well as how you handle your student. So in order to have effective learning environment, we have to respect the diversity of each student. Siyempre, when we are inside the classroom, we encounter different people, we encounter different students, at meron tayong pagkakaiba-iba in terms of belief, religion, na itsura, at meron tayong strength and weaknesses that we need to respect in order to have healthy environment. At sa loob ng classroom, dapat teacher should be fair. Hindi porke mayaman si student A, first honor na. Tapos si student B na less fortunate, hindi pinapansin. So dapat, we have to make sure that there is a equal treatment and fairness in our classroom. Next, Domain 3, Diversity of Learners. This domain consists of 5 strands. First, learners' gender, needs, strength, interests, and experiences. Number 2, learners' linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious backgrounds. So, teacher should know the personal information of each student about the strength, weaknesses, interests, needs, and culture because it will help teacher to know how to handle each student. At para maging aware din ang mga teacher, para maiwasan magpagawa ng mga activities na against sa culture and religion ng mga bata. Number 3, learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. Number 4, learners in difficult circumstances. And the last one, learners from indigenous group. So teachers should have consideration especially to students with disabilities. And teachers should know how to handle the students who are in the difficult situation, like students who are suffering from anxiety or depression. Dapat alam mo rin how to motivate them to lessen their problem. Domain 4, Curriculum and Planning. It consists of 5 strands. The first one, planning and management of teaching and learning process. So dapat ang lesson ng teacher ay organized and well-planned para maayos yung pagdi-deliver niya ng lesson. Pag maayos ang pag-deliver ng lesson, mas natututo ang bata or ang estudyante. Number 2, learning outcomes align with learning competencies. So dapat yung outcome ay konektado sa lesson or syllabus. Halimbawa, ang tinuro ni teacher ay math. Dapat yung learning outcome nun, natuto ka ng math. Hindi pwede nagturo si teacher ng math, tapos bigla kang gumaling sumayaw after ng discussion. So, dapat align yung outcome sa lesson. So, number 3, relevance and responsiveness of learning programs. So, dapat maging responsive ang learning. When the teacher asks, student answer. When student asks, the teacher responds. Dapat responsive ang learning para mas maging effective. Number 4, professional collaboration to enrich teaching and practice. So, dito na pumapasok yung pagkikipag-collaborate ni teacher sa other professional to help student to practice their skills and learning. So, like for example, ABM teacher ka. So, you can communicate with accountant to help your student in terms of improving their skills and knowledge. Kaya tayo may immersion and OJT. Last, teaching and learning resources including ICT. So, dito na pumapasok yung importance ng ICT sa learning process. Teachers should be able to use ICT to improve teaching and to make the learning process effective and convenient. Domain 5, assessment and reporting. This domain consists of 5 strands. The first one, design, selection, organization, and utilization of assessment strategies. So we have different kinds of assessment. We have summative and formative. So teacher should know kung anong assessment ang ipapagawa right after ng discussion. Kailangan yung assessment is connected sa diniscuss mo. Like for example, ang diniscuss ng teacher ay folk dance. Hindi pwedeng right after ng discussion, pag-solving kayo ng math. Dapat yung assessment is connected sa folk dance. Pwedeng gumawa si teacher ng assessment na kung saan mag-i-perform mo o sasayaw ka ng folk dance. Number 4, communication of learners' needs, programs, and achievement to the key stakeholder. So, teachers should inform and update the parents about the progress of their children inside the classroom para malaman nila kung natututo ba yung anak nila or hindi. And teacher must inform the parents about the attitude of their children. Halimbawa, si Kenneth, tamad at bully sa loob ng classroom. So, dapat i-inform ni teacher yung parents na ganun yung attitude ng Kenneth para mapagsabihan at magbago si Kenneth. And the last one, the use of assessment data to enhance teaching and learning practices and program. So, teachers should use the result of assessment or record to enhance the learning. Di ba, pag nalaman ni teacher na mababa yung nakuha ng estudyante, gagawa siya ng panibagong strategies para mas matuto ang estudyante at para mas effective yung learning. Domain 6, community linkages and professional engagement. This consists of 4 strands. The first one, establishment of learning environment that are responsive to community context. So, make student involved in the community. Dapat may connection din yung student sa community. Like magpapagawa si teacher ng isang activity that requires the information from the people within the community like questionnaire, surveys, and Q&A. Number 2, engagement of parents and the wider school community in the educative process. So, dapat magkaroon ng involvement ang mga people in the community sa school. Kagaya ng mga nurses, nagpapapiling sila. Kagaya ng mga barangay worker, minsan sila yung mga nagpapacilitate sa mga program sa school. At dapat, ang mga parents ay marunong makipag-participate, lalo na sa mga meeting or programs na kailangan ng parents' involvement. Third, professional code of ethics, and the last, school policies and procedures. So, teachers should know well the code of ethics dahil napaka-importante ng code of ethics. This also serve as their Bible on how to treat the student and how to act as a real teacher. And teachers should know how to follow the policies in school. Last, domain 7, personal growth and professional development. So this domain consists of 5 strands. First, philosophy of teaching. Second, dignity of teaching as a profession. Third, professional links with colleagues. Fourth, professional reflection and learning to improve practice. And the last, professional development goals. So this domain focuses on the personal growth of a teacher. Dapat alam ni teacher kung bakit siya nasa field of education, alam niya yung goal niya, mahal niya yung ginagawa niya, at alam niya yung mga philosophy of teaching and code of ethics. And dapat ang teacher ay willing to do anything to improve and to enhance his or her skills para sa mga bata. Kaya nga ito ay tinawag na personal growth and professional development. So that's all for the 7 domains of Philippine Professional Standard for Teacher, and I hope you learned something. And for the next topic, here is Sir Flores.
Thank you, Ms. Ancheta. So once again, I am Aaron Xavier M. Poserio from BP Ed 3A. So now I will continue the discussion in physical education in Revolution 4.0. So Education 4.0 is a new buzzword and it is disrupting our traditional concept of schooling, teaching, and learning. A new generation of learners has invaded our school, replacing the millennial, the Generation Z, or the Internet generation. Learners who are not only tech savvy but also technology dependent, practically born with a smartphone in their hands and regards to the technology as essential as air and water. So, ang Education 4.0 daw ay isang malaking pagbabago sa ating nakasanayan o traditional na konsepto ng pag-aaral. So, kung dati ang mga millennials ay palaging nakikita sa school at sila yung nagdodominant sa school, ngayon naman ay mga nasa Generation Z na ang nagdodominant. So, sila din ay tinatawag na Internet generation. So, itong mga nasa henerasyon na ito, sila yung karaniwang nakadepende sa teknolohiya. So, mga bata pa lamang sila mulat na sa smartphones at mga gadget dahil sabi nga nila, nowadays, technology is life. So, tayo mismo ay kabilang sa Generation Z na nakadepende sa teknolohiya. So, halimbawa na lang nito sa ating pag-aaral. So, dahil nga din sa nangyayari ngayong pandemic, kung dati ay sa mismong school tayo napunta para mag-aral, so ngayon naman is sa Google Classroom na lamang dito na ina-upload ng mga teachers or mga professor yung mga activities na kailangan nating isubmit or gawin. So according to Dr. Darla Rothman, the brains of this internet generation are wired to perceive information visually because the region of their brain for visual ability is more developed due to constant exposure to fast-paced, sensor-laden, multimedia environment. So yun nga, sabi ni Dr. Darla Rothman, ang utak nating mga nasa iGen or Generation Z ay magaling mag-visualize ng information na ini-input sa atin. So dahil ito sa palagi ang pagkaka-expose natin sa multimedia environment. So for example, so pag nagsesend o nagpapagawa sa atin yung mga teacher ng isang activity patungkol sa mga exercises or workouts, mabivisualize na agad natin yung mga kailangan nating gawin dahil nga lagi natin itong na-encounter yung topic sa multimedia environment. So in 2018, the Philippines was ranked 57 of 79 participating countries in the Global Connectivity Index. We are the fastest growing digital population in the world with 63% of the population accessing the internet, spending an average of 10 hours a day. So noong 2018 daw, mula sa 79 na participant, pang 57 ang Pilipinas sa Global Connectivity Index. So tayo ay isa sa pinakamabilis na lumalagong digital population sa buong mundo. So 63% ng population na ito ay naglalaan ng 10 oras on average ng paggamit ng internet sa araw-araw. So halimbawa, tayong mga estudyante, so pag wala tayong pasok o kahit na may pasok man tayo, gumagamit tayo ng internet pag may kailangan tayong i-search tungkol sa mga PE activities o yung mga pinapagawa ng mga teacher sa atin. So through using social media, nag-a-add up ito sa oras ng paggamit natin ng internet. So that's all for my topic. So now I will give a time to Mr. Ian J. Flores to know more about the physical education in Revolution 4.0.
So next, there emerge now the need to have a national conversation contextualizing education or industrial revolution, where we see the digitalization of the way economy produces and exchanges goods and services using smart and autonomous system fluid by data and machine learning. So, sa panahon ngayon, ang pagkakaroon ng pambansang pag-uusap patungkol sa edukasyon, kaugnay ang Industrial Revolution, kung saan dapat maipakita sa mga tao kung paano nangyayari ang exchange of produce, services, and goods sa paraang digital gamit ang smart at autonomous system. So halimbawa, sa usaping digitalization, pag nagbibigay ang mga professor at instructors ng mga activities, hindi na nila kailangan pang mag-provide ng hard copies at ipamigay sa atin ito ng individual. So dahil nga one click away lang ang Google Classroom. So doon na lang ito nila ini-upload o kaya naman sa mga group chats. At ang pagbibigay ngayon na activities ay digital na. Our attention now shifts to education, which puts premium and mobile learning, individualized learning playlist, flexible and customized curriculum, and hands-on and practical application of knowledge. So madaming ino-offer ngayon ang education. Ilan dito ay ang individualized learning playlist, ang adaptable na curriculum, at hands-on at practical na paggamit ng skill at knowledge. So halimbawa, sa flexible and customized curriculum ay ang blended learning. Ina-employ ito ngayong pandemic para matugunan ang pangangailangan ng mga estudyante.